Hi guys, it's Tim from memorywolf.com, and this is the first video for this new channel focused on in-camera memory card testing, allowing me to recommend the best cards based on my actual in-camera performance and price. So in this first video we'll be looking at the Canon R6 Mark II, for which I've tested 23 different memory cards in camera to find out which cards clear the buffer the fastest. Now, if you don't want to listen to me or simply don't like the look of my face, then look down below this video and you'll find links to purchase all of the cards that I recommend, as well as a link to my in-camera test article. Now, with that said, let's get started. So I'll be recommending cards for three different types of shooters. First, those who shoot action and lots of continuous bursts and require the buffer to clear as fast as possible. Second, still image shooters who mostly shoot single shots. And third, video shooters. I'll also touch briefly on recording to multiple cards later in this video. So for you action shooters, you'll typically be shooting a lot of continuous bursts and will want the buffer to clear as fast as possible, especially if you're shooting at the maximum frame rate of 40 frames per second that the R6 Mark II is capable of. So you guys will definitely want to go with one of the faster UHS-II cards that have 2 rows of pins, and not one of the slower UHS-II cards or an even slower UHS-I card that only had 1 row of pins. So my recommended card for the R6 Mark II is the Kingston Canvas React Plus UHS-II card. Although this card came fourth in my in-camera speed tests, it was only fractions of a second slower when it came to clearing the buffer than the fastest Sony SFG TUF card. At time of recording this video, a 128GB Kingston Canvas React Plus UHS-II card will cost you around $90 at B&H Photo. This compares to around $200 US dollars for the Sony SFG TUF 128GB card. The Kingston card allowed me to shoot 76 raw images at 40 frames per second before hitting the buffer, and it cleared those images in 9.78 seconds. Shooting C-RAW, I shot 196 images before hitting the buffer, which it cleared in 13.73 seconds. And shooting large JPEGs, I shot 212 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 14.46 seconds. The fastest Sony SFG TUF card allowed me to shoot 76 raw images before hitting the buffer, and it cleared those images in 9.08 seconds. Shooting C-RAW, I shot 195 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 13.55 seconds. And shooting large JPEGs, I shot 213 images before hitting the buffer, which cleared in 14.25 seconds. I would really only recommend the Sony SFG TUF card if you work in harsh environments and require the most durable cards. Due to its tough construction, it is a fairly tight fit in the memory card slots, at least the first few times it's inserted, and then it seems to loosen up. I've never had one get stuck, but I'm not going to completely rule it out. Now, if you look at my test results, then you'll see that the top 11 UHS-II cards that I tested are very similar in terms of performance. When shooting in RAW, there is really only around a 1 second difference to clear the buffer between the Sony card in spot 1 and the ProGrade card in spot 11. So you may simply wish just to purchase whichever card has your preferred brand name, because when shooting in the field, you're definitely not going to notice a difference in speed. If you'd like to see all of my test results, which I've shot in every file format the R6 Mark II supports, then you'll find a link to my article down below this video, because there are simply too many numbers to include everything in this video. Now, for still shooters, there is really no benefit to purchasing a fast UHS-II SD card if you never hit the buffer. The only benefit you will see is when copying images back to your computer, which can be roughly 3 times faster than a UHS-II card compared to UHS-I. So my recommended UHS-I card is the Kingston 128GB Canvas Go, which costs around $17 US at B&H Photo at time of recording this video. Alternatively, the SanDisk 128GB Extreme Pro UHS-I costs around $25 US, or the Delkin Devices 128GB Advantage UHS-I card costs around $24 US. These 3 cards are very similar in terms of performance, and with so very little difference in price, you may just wish to go with your preferred brand name. If you'd like to see all of my UHS-I in-camera test results, then you'll find a link to my article down below this video. Now for video shooters, a V60 rated or faster UHS-II card will cover you for all of the video modes that the R6 Mark II supports, including 4K 60p 10-bit. I'd recommend the Sony SFM V60 UHS-II card, which costs around $53 for a 128GB card at B&H Photo at the time of recording this video. You can also get this card in 256 and 512GB versions. However, whichever card you buy, please just make sure that it's 64GB or larger in capacity. These will be labelled SDXC. 32GB and lower are labelled SDHC and use the FAT32 file system, which will split your movies into 4GB chunks. Finally, just before I finish, it's important to be aware that if you're using both of the memory card slots to record to multiple cards at the same time, then it's best to use the same memory card in each slot. Otherwise, the write speed will always be restricted by the slowest card. That's it for now. If you found this video helpful, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to check out the links to purchase all of the cards mentioned in this video down below. You might also want to check out the rfshooters.com community forum that I run for Canon R series shooters. So until next time, happy shooting.